The Cromwell B is one of those tanks that you buy more than once. Here, let me explain. The Cromwell B is part of the Berlin Quartet, now renamed to the Berlin 4. That was part of the Victory Day sales that started way back in 2015. The 4 tanks in the package were the IS-2, the ISU-122S, the Rudy T-3485 and the Cromwell B. In conjunction with the sales, they also changed the in-game garage with the scene from a destroyed Berlin and a procession of tanks driving by in a parade to mark the Soviet victory. But it looks like this year Wargaming have decided to keep this day more low-key. No Victory Day celebrations in World of Tanks this year. How the turntables. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is one of the tanks that you can buy more than once, and people do buy more than once, and the reason is the BIA Zero Skill crew that is included with the Cromwell B. Now you see, back in 2015, players didn't have any kind of free crew, either from missions, Christmas events, clan war events, etc. The only way to get a crew with BIA as a zero skill crew is to own one of these tanks. Now, in case you don't know how zero skill crew works, basically you get a set of crew with BIA skill for free, and your second skill after the BIA skill is mathematically counted as your first skill. In the crew skill mechanics, your second, third, fourth skills get more and more expensive to train, and if you have a BIA zero skill crew, basically you get more skills for your buck, which means you can train your crews a little bit faster. How good is the BIA zero skill crew, you ask? Well, basically it will take you double the amount of XP to train your skills up to its third skill if you are in a non-BIA zero skill crew. You could actually cut down your grinding time for your crews by half. So what players would do was keep buying more than one of these Cromwells, because if you already owned the tank, you kept getting refunded your gold, but you got to keep the crews. The extra crew could be retrained into your heavy tanks, like your Conquerors, or your TDs like your FV4005, or even the CGC artillery. It is especially a better deal when these tanks would come up for sale in events like Black Market, where you could pay for them in in-game currency like gold or credits. That way, even the free-to-play players who farmed credits and gold could get a leg up with the crew skills. Now, the Cromwell B is by far the most popular of the 4 tanks, but I think the Rudy is very popular too, ever since it was given the ability of switching nations from the Soviet-Russian crew to the Polish crew. Like, for instance, I have my Poodle crews in my CS63, and I bought a couple of Cromwell B crews in my time, and I have them in my Centurion Action X, I have them in my Conqueror, I have them in my Super Conqueror, and I even have them in my Conqueror gun carrier artillery. That's where I got all my crews and crew skills from. You know, quickly train up your crews. You could play your Cromwell B crews in tier 6 stronghold battles, and they rack up those combat bonuses very quickly. Your crew skills multiply very quickly, especially if you're playing in tier 6 strongholds. I've got like, I don't know, maybe 3,000, 4,000 games in the Cromwell B, and you know, that helped in training up all my crews very quickly, and then I retrained them into whatever tanks I wanted to put them in. For example, the Conqueror, the Super Conqueror, the CGC and whatnot. But anyway, here we are in the Cromwell B. I have not played this tank in years, many years, and this is my first game back. I just decided to play this because of course the Berlin Quartet or the Berlin 4 is on sale right now in conjunction with Victory Day. And yeah, for those new players who didn't know what the significance of the Berlin Quartet tanks were for, or the advantages of buying one of these quartet tanks like the Poodle or the Cromwell B, well, here you go. You buy it for the crew. And by the way, the Cromwell B is no pushover either. This tank is a it is a must-have tank if you are playing in tier 6 strongholds. So is the T-34-85M. Unfortunately, the Poodle is not as competitive as it used to be. But if you do want to watch a tank review on the Poodle, I will leave a link for you. I did make a video of the Poodle very recently as well, because it was on sale as well. Kind of recently, maybe about a month ago it was on sale, and I made a video about the Poodle, so I'll leave a link for you if you're interested in that tank. But anyway, I'm in the Cromwell B. This is my first game back in it, just to make this video for you guys. Turned out to be an okay game, so I decided to just stick with it and use this replay to make this video. As you can tell, I am not hyper aggressive in the Cromwell B because I haven't played it in a very long time, so I am trying to be as careful and as conservative, or play as safe as possible. But you know, the Cromwell B does have mobility as one of its most important perks in this tank. It does 60 what is the speed of this tank, by the way? 64 kilometers an hour going forward, which gives me the opportunity to flank the enemy team if I wanted to. If I was in any other tank that did not have the kind of speed, I would not have tried to make this kind of move so late in the game. Even though we're up tanks, we are actually down by hit points, and even with a very high power to weight ratio of 24.52, you know, power to weight ratio, it still took me a long time to climb up that hill, as you can notice. Very good power to weight ratio, very good mobility. The gun accuracy is not bad either. 0.35 dispersion, I believe you can get it down to about 0.31 dispersion if you have BIA, if you're running food, if you have enough crew skills. The dispersion, the accuracy is not that bad. As you can tell, I made a lot of pixel shots from a distance of, you know, 445, 450 meters away. I made those shots, no problem. The weakness about this tank is the moving dispersion. The moving dispersions are 0.24. You can get them down to about 0.20, but it still makes it really bad as a you know, shooting and moving kind of gun. Therefore, you either play this tank by sniping from a real distance where, you know, your enemies cannot harm you, where you are not spotted, or you need to be extremely close up. When I mean extremely close up, I mean supporting the heavies, using your speed and mobility to flank the enemies, basically fighting in, you know, a knife fight, close combat, and depend on your quick reload time to melt down the enemies at a very close range, or support your heavies, shoot when your enemies are reloading. That's when you can poke out, use your mobility, use your speed, poke out, shoot, and then duck back into cover. That's how the Cromwell is played. It is, like I said, a extremely popular tank, especially if you want to grind credits in tier 6 strongholds, or again, this is a very, because it is a strong tank, this is a very popular solo tank. People play this game a lot alone. You don't need a platoon. You can be a one-man army. You basically control the engagement, you control the games because of the strong, mobility of the tank, strong performance of the tank. You can basically handle any kind of situation, and the win ratio of your tank, the win ratio of your team, you can highly influence it. If you're an experienced player, if you're a good player, you easily control the theater of combat, as you would say, because this tank is very powerful, and if you play it the right way, make use of its strengths, you can definitely influence a game and influence an outcome of a game. You're never out in the front trying to use your hit points all the time. You saw me there towards the end of the game. I confronted that T-58 that I just killed. I took a lot of damage for it, but I did manage to kill it in the end with just over 60 hit points left in my tank. But again, I am only going forward here because this Easy 8 is going forward, spotting that Hellcat. I knew that Hellcat was there early on in the game when I got shot from it, but now that it is towards the end of the game, I can help that Easy 8 and finish off that Hellcat. And that was the end of the game. My first game in the Cromwell in at least 2 years, and pretty good result, pretty happy with it. Not the greatest, of course, but yeah, it is indicative of how you can expect a Cromwell B to perform, how any regular schmo would play it and would get quite successful playing it, because of its pretty strong position in this game. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye.